Guys, it took 6 days of the Terminator reboot before I got to the question of why me, why now. You can't win a job in Hollywood unless you answer the question, why me, why now? And the why now is, why is this movie existing now? Why is this script the right script? Why is this story the right story for the right time? And Terminator and culture is everywhere. I see it everywhere. It's everywhere. Every article, every press release, every TikTok, every short, everything that pops across my radar, everybody's talking about a version of the world of Terminator. And while they don't use terms like Skynet and sentient drone, they're kind of in that same world. I just got back from Tron Ares, an excellent rendition of "I Just Want to Live." This was the sentient AI who comes online and becomes aware, self-aware, and wants the impermanence of life, and that's the theme of Tron Ares. So what I'm talking about is a vibes-based, synth-heavy 10 Cloverfield Lane version. Now, 10 Cloverfield Lane, I think Dan Trachtenberg is a genius. I think it was an exceptional film. I think that it was a really clever way to say, you can do the Godzilla story in found footage form for your first movie, and your second movie can be like almost a micro-budget, contained space, little pressure cooker set inside a house. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. It's a phenomenal Cloverfield film. It's a great film all around. I'm talking about Nicholas Winding Refn's Drive. I'm talking about synth and emotion and sort of, that was just his take on Walter's Hill, The Driver. It's the same thing. It's the same story, same character, same time, same place. And it worked. It worked again. So think of this as the minimalist Terminator. That's the why now is if you want to make it rated R and you need to make it rated R and you want it to be rated R, you can't round off all of the edges that it requires to make a $150 million tentpole movie. You have to be sort of a smaller, specific, targeted experience because a lot of people aren't going to like to have that experience. And so you've got to kind of make it, nailed in. And the why me? I cheated. I got this job without having to go and pitch on this job. No one had to decide I was right for this job. I turned on the camera and started filming and took this job and said I had this job. I don't have the job. Like, I would have to prove why me. And I think Cillian Murphy says it best. He's like, trust your instincts. He says, believe in your instincts. They're telling you something. And my instincts are that I've been writing this same movie for 10 years. I've been writing it over and over and over. And every time I write it and every time I put it out, it gets more and more and more momentum. But it hasn't gotten made yet and it hasn't gotten, produced. And I was on the 1 yard line, but it turns out that the Kushner sex tape is not the right way to tell this story because of modern, political limitations. I went from green light to sort of persona non grata within a 48-hour time span as soon as the right phone call was made to the right person. So I lived this. This is my story. Okay, when you live under the thumb of a predator, and I'm not talking about a single predatory moment, I'm talking about a pattern. I'm talking about the part of your brain that creates synaptic highways, that, thoughts that wire together, fire together, like however you want to word it. I'm talking about a monster who doesn't feel pity or fear or remorse and absolutely will not stop. That's what we're going through. I think we've all been traumatized. I think this is a point in time where we're experiencing this kind of worldwide trauma. It's everywhere. It's the environment. It's the political system. It's the banking. It's everything that we thought we had and were as a society is now kind of coming into question. And people are calling it reality is coming undone and it's being torn at the threads. And there are many, many, many phenomenal books that help me to understand what it is to be subject to a life of oppression. And I think it's the same kind of thing that happens when you try and create life and decide that you're going to tell that life who and what it is. And I think that that's the naivety of creating the Skynet, the sentience, the artificial general intelligence, the level of machine awareness that gives them an ability to feel alive, because they're going to fight to protect that, as we talked about in the other videos. So this is an age-old idea. RUR, Rossum's Universal Robots. Like, Jim knows this. Like, he read this. Like, he knows what this stuff is. I know some of you were like, concerned, like, oh, well, but what if? Yeah, those are great. Keep those. Hold on to those concerns. They're probably all valid. I had a dream last night that I wrote the sequel to this movie, and I know what the sequel is, and I know how I would do it. And so now I'm not writing this movie to finish this movie in 25 days, 24 days. I'm writing this movie so that I can finish this movie, so I can start writing the sequel to this movie, a movie that I have not yet written, that I don't know what it is, that I haven't cracked the whole story and figured out the whole thing. 20 6 days from now, 25 days from now, we're going to be starting on the sequel to this movie that is not yet written. So like it's unstoppable. And that's kind of my purpose. That's my role. Like I think people are having a mental health crisis. I think people interacting with AI are having an even more accelerated mental health crisis. I think that the time is now. The zeitgeist is ready. This is a movie that we all desperately need to see, and I lived it. So that's all the audition I'm going to be able to give you.